Three, two, one. Welcome to Bellwether episode 117. Where are all the trustworthy gurus? Is the question we're going to ponder today. As I think back to what we've been talking about this year, we've got to find our identity, right? All this change, crazy stuff's happening. Where is all the ambition gone? We don't really have ambition because we don't really know where we're going. And there's kind of this big murky whatever going on. Last week we talked about AI, the future of work, and all this kind of craziness that's going on and how do we respond. And one of the things I've been noodling over the past few years, this probably really came to a head during the pandemic, is where are all the people we could trust? And who are the people that we could look up to? And someone asked me once, who do you really look up to? And, obviously you've got your family and you've got your people close to you and everything, but who exists out there for us to say that's a person I want to hitch my wagon to? And you'd be hard pressed, I think, to find one. When I think back to the pandemic, and the absolute void of leadership everywhere. Like, it was absolute chaos. Everybody was an expert and everybody was wrong. And it was all like this kind of just mayhem. And what we needed was like this JFK type, we're going to the moon, everybody, we could do this together. And it just did not exist. We never got it. And it was just chaos. And eventually we rallied, we figured it out. Well, actually, we haven't really figured it out if you think about it. Now I'll take that back. But, as we look around today with more of this uncertainty on the horizon, right? That was pure uncertainty. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know, if you think back to it, it was a crazy time. And now, a couple years later, we're 3 years after? We still don't really know what the hell's going on, but, things have opened up and some people wear masks, some people don't, whatever. And it's like, figure it out. But it was never it was like this divisive time and nobody really knows who to trust. And everyone's like on this side or that side. And it's, and none of them are trustworthy. Right. And I've got theories as to why this is happening, which I'll talk about today. I'll talk about how to find that guru that you can kind of hitch your wagon to and just say, yeah, I trust. Maybe there's multiple. Maybe you find different ones. We look at this. I call it Instagram reality. Other people call it Instagram reality. Other people call it other things. Everything is about marketing yourself now. It's less about others, less about you. It's all about your personal brand. And what do people see? We got to package things a certain way, and it's inauthentic, and it's got ulterior motives, and they're only interested in sharing their philosophies and being right, less on teaching the ability to think and helping you get to where you need to go. It's always about them, and very little about the betterment of others, because everybody's an expert to tell you on what you need to do to be better for everybody else, but they don't have the context on you, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and a true guru isn't going to do that. A true guru, while they may have wisdom, they may have experience, they don't always have to be right. And they're not really telling you what to think. They're telling you how to think about things so you can come to your own conclusion. And when so much change is happening, and there is so much change happening, like fundamental, crazy, like I'm shouting this from the rooftops and we know it, we're just putting our head in the sand. We want to ignore it, but we really can't. We need someone to say, hey, I got you back, right? I get it. It's all, we could do this together and go team go. And I would say we all need a guru. I don't know who that is. I would let's put my name in that hat, but you know what? I don't think that people really want to, people have to want to follow you too. And that's okay. But we do need someone that we could trust. Oftentimes when we think about like this big scale, large scale type of stuff, like the pandemic, generally we look to politicians to be in that role, but we know that honest politicians just don't exist. There's not a single one on the planet, and their whole gig, the whole idea of politics is to play one thing against another. And so there's no real, authenticity when it comes to politics, and we can't really trust our politicians. And any of the talking heads on any of the news channels talking about politics, we can't trust them because they're pushing agendas. And we hear that across the board, right? The less news you pay attention to and the less news you tune into, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, whatever it is, the happier we all are. And so where are these true voices of conscience, right? Not the people who are preaching from their bleach blonde hair sitting on like a Fox News couch, or, the angry person screaming on MSNBC. We've got these two different sides. Where are these true voices of conscience to kind of do that? And do we have a desire to listen to them? I don't know. But let's talk about gurus. and what we mean by a guru, right? A guru's got many different meanings. And here's what I'm talking about when I talk about guru. A guru is a guide, and people think about gurus in different ways. We think about, you think about the old, go to India and you find your guru sitting in a mountain and, meditating, and, or you go to, Thailand or these Buddhist temples or whatever it is, and we have to find this spiritual guide. And that's not, yes, that exists. That's fine. But we need gurus in different types of it. We need personal journey gurus. We need, career gurus. People, we can think of them as mentors. We can think of them as these different types of things. And we often misinterpret a guru as a teacher, a person to tell you the way. And that's not what it is. My best teachers, when we think about our best teachers going back, I know my best teachers are the ones who helped me develop. They didn't tell me what to do. They guided me so I could figure out the answer for myself. And that's what we need. As adults, this is a very different and difficult way to kind of change our mentalities. We have to figure things out for ourselves. We know this, but what does that really mean and how does it manifest? And we're responsible. We have kids in our care. We have bills to pay. We've got all of these types of things, these different types of responsibilities. So we don't really think of ourselves as having this luxury of taking the time to figure it out. But we need someone to guide us through that way. Okay, and if you heard my talk about finding coaches and all of that stuff, you know my philosophy on it. And there's a lot that are just kind of selling snake oil. But that's, we need these people to kind of help us articulate our thoughts so that we know what we want to believe. They're not telling you what to believe, but they ask you the proper framework so you can articulate what you believe. And that's ultimately what a guru is. And your belief system will inform how you respond to different levels of change, and your belief system will inform the decisions that you make. And your belief system is never right or wrong. It's not a truth. It's just what you choose to believe. And you need someone, we all need someone, to help us articulate that and find that. And it could just be a friend. You don't have to pay this person, right? When we find our gurus, right, these are the people who can really challenge us. They don't just agree and tell us what we want to hear. They challenge us to articulate it for ourselves and don't make those simple assumptions, because that's step number one in dealing with this is we have to shed our assumptions. So in dealing with all of this type of change that's happening. So that's nice. So that's when I think about, there's different types of gurus: spiritual, personal, career, business, everything. Let's find the qualities that we want, because as you're thinking about, if you were to pause and say, what gurus do I have in my life? Who do I follow? Following this idea of following, and I go to social media a lot because that's where a lot of people get their information. We follow all these people, and they talk in these little nuggets, and it's just garbage, right? So I almost think and I go through this and reevaluate. I don't want to follow this person. You're not bringing value to me, and you cut these people out, and maybe you only follow 15 freaking people, right? That's okay, right? And these are the people that are going to make you better. This is when I start to kind of take control of my social media, I'm going to really kind of pare back, why am I following these people, right? You've got the funny people that, they make you feel good, whatever, they can distract you. But there's another kind of subset of just saying, this is a person whose opinion I trust and whose opinion I value. And so how do you find those people? How do you find, what qualities do they have? We have to find out the qualities they have, and then we have to talk about how to find them. There are standard qualities that I would argue a guru should possess. Authenticity. They should have integrity. They should have experience in whatever it is they're talking about. They should be altruistic in some form, like this commitment to helping others. There's all types of different, when we think about the person, and what does integrity really mean? Right? We have to define this. Integrity means different things to different people. There's a scale of integrity, which sounds crazy, right? But doing the right thing, there's a lot of gray matter. And so what does that mean? We have to define that for ourselves. And authenticity is, you could be an authentic person, but if nobody believes it, then you're kind of up shit's creek, right? It doesn't really matter. So how do you find that authenticity that you connect with, and a believability aspect, right? I've talked a lot on this podcast about believability, and are these people actually believable in what they do? And we had this unique time where, you used to get information, you used to read an article, you used to read a blog post, you used to do whatever, but you read it in your own voice. and you read it in your own voice, and then you could determine whether or not you believed it or not. But now with video and the TikToks and the Instagrams and the YouTubes and basically what I'm doing, the podcasts, people can say what they write down with a different level of conviction in their voice. We're getting hit with different senses. So we may not fully get what they're saying, but we believe it because there's conviction in voice. Does not necessarily make them trustworthy, right? I could say things that I could completely make up, but if I say it in a convincing way, all of a sudden people have this belief, they believe it. And so we need to catch up in terms of this trustworthiness and belief. And do you really believe the stuff that people are spitting out? And 90% of the time, the answer is no for me. Where if I pause and I think and I close my eyes and say, this person just said this, what's the context that they're trying to give? Like, this is just noise. This is ridiculous. And so how do we filter through all of that noise in order to do that? So when we're looking for qualities, we have to do our research, right? It's very surface level, Instagram reality, right? That's all marketing. And so where's the substance? What credentials do they have? Check their library. What's the library? And are they saying the same thing over and over? Or is there kind of, some flimsy evidence there going back and forth? And, there are some people who are just great at managing reputation, but there's no substance behind it. And so where's that substance and what is that substance? And, when I talk to clients about building, whatever it is that they want to be seen as and doing this in terms of your business and everything else, is you have to create this library of what people could find when they look you up. And it takes work, but it's a lot easier when you don't have to do the work, when you're consistent with what you're doing and you're putting out this authentic message and everything. I'm terrible about the personal, putting out the positive notes and the good news I get and all of that stuff. The self-promotion doesn't really affect me as much. I get a lot of referrals, so that's good. But the self-promotion aspect, we have to do this in a certain time, but there's a balance between healthy self-promotion versus I'm just an attention whore and follow me because I want the likes and I want to monetize my follows. And that's what a lot of people do. So what we're looking for is trust, right? This is a relationship. When you're looking for the quality of a guru, we're looking for this believability. We're looking for trust. It's a relationship. Even if you never meet this guru, but you're absorbing their information to help you navigate this change, to help you make your decisions, to help you formulate your belief system and what you think. Think of this as a relationship, and they're not just telling you what you want them to say and what you want to hear. They're also challenging you in a different, what do you need to hear, right? What are the blunt things that need to kind of smack you across the face and say, hey, guess what, you idiot? You're not really doing what it is that you should be doing. There's like a transparency there and honesty, forthrightness, all of this stuff. So we've got all the words. It's not always cheery and happy and bullshit and, blah, blah, blah. Look how great my life is. And your life could be just as good too. Nonsense. It's just garbage. And so these are not the gurus we need, and they're not going to help you. And so let's filter through them. So let's find some warnings to cut those out. There are red flags. Everybody wants to be a guru. Okay, everybody with an Instagram channel wants to be a guru. Everyone wants to be an influencer. And everybody wants to be, this, and this. They think that they're going to get some value from it. They think that they are going to be relevant. I don't know what this desperate need for it is. I don't understand it. But everybody wants to be wanted, right? Myself included, of course. I just hate social media. It doesn't make my life better. But there are a lot of people out there who will jump into that role very, very quickly. But there are a lot of red flags in terms of should they actually be there. So let's talk about some of the red flags, like lack of transparency, this constant focus on money and buy my product and course and yada, yada, yada. My favorite red flag, first off, full stop. If you're checking someone out and they've got an Instagram feed or a TikTok thing, there's a video of them crying. Throw them in the garbage. Just throw them in the garbage. Nobody on this planet, when they are authentically upset and crying, stops to say, I got to put this on Instagram. Okay? It's inauthentic. It's gone. I know, like, that's my real tangible kind of one. That's my good filter, where if there is a tear in there, whining to an audience is basically, I'm an attention whore. I need, attention, and my life is so miserable, but it's not. And they're doing it to clickbait you, and they only really care about monetizing your follow. So that's that. So outside of that one, here's what's difficult in following a guru today. One, I already talked about the different ways that we're ingesting information. We're doing this in many different ways, and we hear voices now, and the voices and the conviction and the talking heads, and we inappropriately trust them, and that's not good. So that's one red flag is, how much conviction do they really have, and is it believable? Two, the money thing. Everyone is selling something, and it's annoying as shit. Okay? I don't need your $19.99 course that will help me monetize 10x, 100x that normally sells for $2,500, and you're giving me such a steal, and blah, 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 blah. If someone is selling a course, it's probably BS. Not always. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it's good, right? But we're talking let's talk 80-20 rule, right? 80% of them are absolute garbage. The next 20%, some are good. Less than 1% are worth the money. Okay, so the first one you find is probably not worth the money. And so anybody pushing you to sell you something, buy this, buy that, instant red flag for me. I turn them off. I can't do that. And I get inundated. And it's probably because of the business I'm in. I get inundated with these, hey, come do this and join this. And, let me give you this program to 10x your coaching. And it's all about monetizing people and not actually helping them. And it's the opposite, the antithesis of everything I believe in business. And it drives me bananas. And so I see it a lot more, probably than most other people, but I feel it and it drives me nuts. So anybody selling you something is probably full of shit. Sorry, I was a little passionate there, but it's true. And that goes beyond, right? It comes in many different forms. Trying to push anything on you is probably garbage. Now, look, we've got products, right? We all sell that. I sell coaching. I sell workshops, right? That's fine. And there's a style in which you do it. But I will not take a client unless they're ready to take it. Okay? I will not take a client unless we figure out success. I give the money back if it's not going to be successful, right? There's an authenticity there that, a belief that it will work. If it's not going to work, that's on me to figure that out at the beginning. Okay? With you, in conjunction with you. So a push on money is a big red flag. And I unfollow, right? I don't follow them. I don't do it. Lack of transparency. We live in this Twitter 150 character world, little under a minute TikToks and Instagrams, and it's tough to really give substance. But a lot of people love to float at that surface level, and they have no substance behind it. I talk about marketing versus substance, right? And you may have heard me tell the story about how I bought the iPhone. I bought it twice. I bought into the marketing thing. Never worked. Dropped 100 phone calls on 2 different networks. And everybody who believes in iPhone and everything else were like, oh no, it's, user error and everything. Nobody could figure it out. Apple couldn't figure it out. Does not work. Android works. It's not flashy. It's not sexy, but it works for me. Now, iPhone's figured it out and everything. I mean, this was probably 15 years ago when it all came out. But there was a marketing thing. Everybody bought into marketing, but it didn't work. Or you don't buy into the marketing, the substance, right? There's a story there. There's a lesson there. Do with it what you will. It makes sense to me. But when there's no details, no this marketing sizzle with no substance, you can't really find the substance. It's all landing pages and sign up for this and let me sell you the dream without telling you how. That's a red flag, right? Unless someone's got the people telling you that this was life-changing, and it's not just their friends and their parents, everything else, then it's really not, we don't need this kind of ridiculous, let me sell you the dream and it's not going to come. So lack of transparency is a red flag. Today, more than ever, I would say, the coaching world, and I'll talk about it from the coaching world, but the world is full of very vulnerable people right now. And everybody's looking for a guru. And there are a lot of people, especially in the coaching world, who will exploit it. Not all coaches. A lot of coaches are really, really good. A lot of people have this true desire to help people. Okay. And they do really good work. But buyer beware, right? There is a whole industry on how to set up a side hustle coaching business to get people in, charge $100 an hour, and just churn them through. Doesn't help anybody, but it gets that person rich. Watch out for it, right? Buyer beware. Just like anything else, is we have to do the work. We don't like to do the work, but let's kind of start cutting through the fat and rebuilding what it is that we're looking for. So this is important. And it's why I'm doing a podcast on it. I think, as we're looking for it, we need help. We need to kind of reevaluate where we're getting our information and who we could trust and who's real. And be open to finding out that person's not a person you could trust, and changing your mentality and changing, questioning the information you're getting and the information that you're doing. So as we go through it, do a review. Some people are slick. They'll kind of cut through your filter, but let's kind of pare back the people we're following, right? Cut the noise. We know it's noise. It's a good exercise to cut through your feeds, almost rebuild from the start, and just saying like, these are maybe, I'll start with 15 people and see what they can give me. People don't need to post every day, right? Maybe they only post when it's relevant. That's good. You don't have time for the noise. You don't have time for these people selling you. You don't have time for this shit. Like all this noise that people are just creating and just putting out because they're told to put out content. They're just creating noise, which is distracting you from getting something done. Okay, we don't need that. We don't need it in our lives, right? So it's time to just start taking control of what we actually need in our lives and filtering that kind of information out. When you find the ones you trust, do the work to kind of do some background checks, right? Because these people are people that you want to believe. Like if you were to pick these 5 people, that you were like, these are the people that are going to help me. These are going to be my virtual board of directors that are going to help me and advise me. And, you can always reach out to them and you could kind of just say, hey, I saw this post and what do you think about this? And you could engage them, right? Use your intuition, use your head, right? Your head works. And so find these people, use it. Who do you follow? Why? Do the research online. Don't just use the robot. We need people. And so it's time for us to kind of do the work and filter the noise and ask questions and be curious and challenge people. For us to challenge the gurus, we have to challenge ourselves. And that's it. It's a journey, right? It's all a journey. Life is good. Life is great. We don't have time for anything. Nobody's got time for anything. So why are we giving our time to these, half-wits? Oh, I can't stand them. I go through the feed and I'm like, what is this garbage? Delete. Anyway, it's time, right? We need help. We all need help. And to get help, we need a guru we can trust. And so I'm happy to share some people that I trust. And if there's anything I can do to help you, please let me know. Good luck with it. And as always, I'm here to help. Have a great week. Thanks.